So, I have a huge apology for you guys. I have no excuse whatsoever as to why I've been gone for so long. Yeah, I just kind of took a break, you know, life gets in the way. Anyways, so what I'm here to do today is a review video. Basically, I'm going to be reviewing the Sedona Lace Vortex brush set, and this brush set looks just like this bad boy right here, and it comes with a brush belt, which is why it was a little bit more pricey. This particular set retails for $89.99. Otherwise, I believe it's $79.99, but it does come with 13 brushes. One of them is dual-ended, so I guess you can kind of say there's 12, but in reality there's 13. But what I want to do is actually go in and let you guys know what I use each individual brush for. Starting off with this brush right here. Now this brush is the Dome Contour Brush, and I really like this for contouring the hollows of my cheeks, also my jawline and the temples. And what I do is I just use this brush in a circular motion. That way everything is really blended out, and I feel like this gives me the most flawless contour. The only thing I must say is that this is the one that sheds the absolute most. I've had the opportunity to use these brushes for about 2 months now, so I really got to use them, wash them, and this one just sheds a little bit too much for me. If it didn't shed as much, I'm pretty sure I would love it. It would probably be my favorite brush out of all of these, just because I'm the type of girl who absolutely loves to contour. Okay, so moving on to the next brush, which is the Tulip Contouring Brush, and I really like that it comes to a point. It's like in a dome shape because it allows me to apply powder so much more easily. I just place this directly under my eyes to set my concealer, and it also allows me to get into the crevices of my face, like around my nose area. So I really like that about this brush, and I don't get any shedding whatsoever. So the next brush I'm going to talk about is the Flat Top Buffer Brush, which is the FB07, and it looks like this. It has brown synthetic hairs, and I really like this brush for cream foundation. The only con that I do have about this brush is that it's not that dense. As you can see, I'm putting my hand over top of it, and it's not as dense as you would imagine it to be, but it gets the job done. I typically like to use this with my CoverGirl and Olay Simply Ageless Foundation, which is a cream foundation, and I just buff it right into the skin. The only thing, like I said, it's not that dense, so I feel like liquid foundation would seep into the barrel of the brush, which is something I don't really want to happen, so I typically use this for cream products. Okay, so the next face brush is the Jumbo Fan Brush, and I was so excited for this brush right here just because I wanted a fan brush so freaking bad, and this is the only fan brush that I've seen that looks really high quality, and it looks just like this, and it is pretty intimidating. It is the FB01 brush, and just looking at it, it's kind of like, what am I going to do with this, okay? But it gets the job done. It makes highlighting that much easier, and I like to use like my Naked Flush palette. I like to just dab this onto the highlight, and then I just apply it right here to the highest part of my cheekbone, also to the bridge of my nose, and then also my Cupid's bow. Moving right along to eye brushes, this is the Universal Blending Brush, and it is the EB09 brush, which is eye brush for EB, and I really like this brush for kind of packing on the color in the outer V of my eye, and then this just kind of concentrates the color and really gets it in. The next brush is the EB17 brush, and it looks like this, and this is the dual-ended brow and spoolie brush, and I really love the spoolie part of this brush. I really like to comb out my brows, and then I really like this to blend out the brow color. It kind of gives it that really nice gradient effect, and it kind of blends everything out if you in fact apply too much color and they're a little bit too dark. As far as the brow part of this brush, I can't really say I'm a fan of it just because it is extremely hard, and even though some people like their brushes to be hard so that way they can really like get it on their brows, I don't like it that much. In fact, I don't use it ever. So the next brush is the synthetic blender brush, and it is the EB13, and this is my all-time favorite blending brush at the moment. It has these synthetic bristles, and it just really blends the product out very nicely. It doesn't leave it patchy or blotchy or anything like that. It just gives you that really smooth grading effect. Okay, so the next brush is the pointed crease brush, and what I like to use this for is highlighting my inner tear duct right here, because it's pointy and I can just kind of, you know, apply the little highlight right here very quickly. And then I also like to use this brush to kind of do a kind of dramatic eyeshadow. I like to drag it into my crease and then flick it outwards if I want it to extend the shadow a little bit more. This next brush is the EB21 brush, which is the detailed shader brush, and I typically like this for like overall eyeshadow application to highlight my brow bone, my tear duct, or I essentially really like to use this for smudging the shadow on my lower lash line, and that's what I use this most for, and I find that it works really, really well. It's not too hard, it's actually really soft, and I feel like I could smudge the product really well without really like leaving any like pulling or tugging on my eyes with this brush. Okay, so the next brush is the EB23 brush, and this is the angled detailed brush, and I really like this brush for applying the powder on my eyebrows. If I am using a powder, sometimes I use a brow pencil, but if I am using a powder, I like to kind of fill in my brows with the angled part of this brush. It just gives me a really precise application, and I also really like to use this to clean up my brows with concealer. Now this next brush right here is a lip brush, and it is the LB25, and it comes in a cute case just like this. So it is a silver casing, so that way it doesn't get contaminated or anything like that, because this does go on people's lips. So you just pop this baby right off right here, and it is a cute little lip brush, and I find that this is extremely useful for applying bold lip colors like a dark red, a dark pink, a burgundy, anything like that. It allows you to have more control over the product, and it just gives you that flawless, really amazing lip look. Okay, now this last brush I haven't had the opportunity to use just because I'm not really a fan of like gel eyeliner, but it is the EB19, and this is the bent liner brush. I do still have the plastic part over it just because I don't want to ruin the brush or get it bent or anything, just in case I want to practice my wing liner. But this brush right here says it is essential for like wing liner and things like that. So that's about it for this brush set. I really do like it. Like I said, it's very professional, chic, classy, and elegant. If I had to give it an overall rating, I would rate it a 9 out of 10, just for the simple fact that the dome contouring brush sheds like crazy, and then also I didn't really find the dual you know, brow and spoolie brush very useful. Well, the brow part of the brush, I really love the spoolie part, but that's the main reason I would rate it a 9 out of 10. Otherwise, I think it's an excellent brush set. Makeup by Ren did an amazing job, and if you guys want to check out this brush set, basically I will leave all the links down below, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and you want to see more review videos like this, and I will be sure to see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!